Hey guys, welcome to the Scarred Thumb Podcast. I'm David, and we got some heavy topics to discuss today. So I think I'm just going to get right into it. Let's start off talking about Assassin's Creed, and I'm going to kind of roll it into hacks, the stuff with hacks and his death. But let's get into this first. So this is Assassin's Creed Shadows. It apparently has reached 3 million players. Here's Assassin's Creed talking up their game. Second highest day one sales revenue in Assassin's Creed franchise history. Biggest day one, Ubisoft day one on PlayStation Digital Store. Biggest community ever with over 3 million hours already played. Blah, blah, blah. Justice is forged in the shadows. There's Michael, Legacy, Killa HD, despite narrative. Some are pushing the game is doing solid numbers. Again, solid numbers. It's doing all right. It's a big name franchise. Not sure why people thought Assassin's Creed would flop. Casual audience has no idea / care of the very online controversy. I don't know about very online. I think the inclusion of Yasuke is not very online. I think it's kind of in your face response to basically the George Floyd stuff that happened in 2020. But we'll talk about that a little bit later. So we move on, and this is the thing that they keep saying, like 3 million players. It's doing super well. They're hyping themselves up. They're not really giving metrics that we can compare it to other games. Like Steam sales numbers are obviously fairly low compared to something like, Space Marine 2. It's slightly lower than Valhalla on Steam, but the Ubisoft Plus stuff basically kind of obfuscates, how much money are they getting through that, their own digital platform. How much, does a player playing on Ubisoft Plus for like $18 a month translate into, revenue for them? That's kind of hard to say. Like, do they just join and then, stop after a month, after they played it? Or, do they just stay on and just never cancel their subscription? Who knows? So it is kind of hard. They also say revenue, like, oh, it's doing one of the highest revenues for this stuff. And there's also the very real possibility that they're just trying to hype up their value before they get sold off. And we'll go into that a little bit later, because they're saying stuff like, don't compare Assassin's Creed Shadows launch to the Perfect Storm Valhalla benefited from. Ubisoft internal email says, compare it to Origins, Odyssey, and Mirage. So they're sending out internal emails saying that, don't compare it to our super high selling game that came out during COVID when everyone was playing video games, and it was just, it's kind of supercharged. So Ubisoft suffered, and they're talking about, sales failure of Star Wars Outlaws, high profile flops, studio layoffs. Basically they're trying like, hey, don't compare it to, and then of course, this article mentions Veilguard as well, which, saw a peak of 90,000 players, still considered a flop. Meanwhile, at least, they didn't really make enough money back on it because games these days just cost so much money. If you only sell like 2 million copies, you're not doing well at that point. Like if it's like a AAA game, you need to like sell like 3 to 5 million copies for it to be a success, which is just insane. But look, when you have just so many people working on these games, it's really hard to get that money back. It's a risk. It's become such a risk, and that's one of the issues with video games in general these days. So, there's that to consider. Like the peak does not seem that big, but we don't know what's going on at Ubisoft. But this does seem like a kind of like a cope here. Like, hey, don't compare it to Valhalla. It's of course it's going to do worse than Valhalla. And there's also like the idea that, as time goes on, I think more and more are going to be digital sales based on Steam, based on other things. I don't know if Ubisoft Plus is as big back then as it was now. I kind of think it's less, just judging by the fact that they had to go back to Steam for this release, day in and date, released on all platforms. They didn't wait to try and push Ubisoft Plus. I don't know if Ubisoft Plus is doing that well. I think a lot of, people had ideas like, hey, let's get our own streaming service. Let's compete with Steam. They found out that, it's really hard to do that. And even now, even after the massive success of Shadows, and I think this was already planned well beforehand, I kind of agree with the people saying that they wanted to see how Shadows does before they, close the deal. In case, if Shadows was a breakout success, I think Ubisoft would want to have a little more money than they did before. So this is from Niche Gamer. Ubisoft has announced a new subsidiary that will focus on Assassin's Creed, Far Cry, Tom Clancy's Rainbow Six brand, via a minority stake investment of $1.16 billion from Tencent. The new subsidiary and subsequent investment from Tencent comes after months of planning and selection from Ubisoft internally, which focuses on the future of the company, as announced earlier this year. The new Ubisoft subsidiary will focus on, I guess it's a typo, building game ecosystem designed to become truly evergreen and multi-platform. Man, if this isn't just the biggest load of fucking corporate bullshit. Building a game ecosystem designed to become truly evergreen and multi-platform. What does that mean? Could anyone explain to me what that means? Does that mean like MMOs? Are they just going to build MMOs now or something? Truly evergreen and multi-platform. Are they just going to build mobile games at this point? Maybe that's it. Tencent likes their mobile games. Guys, we're just going to make mobile gacha games from now on with Ubisoft's brands. It's truly evergreen. It's truly multi-platform. Wow. And driving and increasing quality of narrative solo experiences, expand multiplayer offerings with increased frequency of content. Oh, God. Free-to-play and integrated social. They are making gacha games. Narrative solo experience, expanding so we're just doing all like solo experiences, multiplayer offerings, and increased frequency of. We're just making live service slop from now on. Maybe that's what it translates to. Good morning, Deborah. Alongside the new investments and plans, Ubisoft will focus on nurturing development of iconic franchises, including Tom Clancy's Ghost Recon: The Division, while accelerating the growth of top-performing titles and leveraging disruptive tech. I love disruptive technologies. Does that mean AI? On select new IPs and delivering state-of-the-art production game engines and online service. We're doing everything. We're doing amazing stuff here, guys. Amazing stuff. Today, Ubisoft is opening a new chapter in its history. It says Yves Guillemot. That's the Ubisoft co-founder and chief executive officer as we accelerate the company's transformation. It's a fundamental step in changing Ubisoft's operating model. become agile and ambitious, so blah, blah, blah. A bunch of crap. So, I mean, Ubisoft has not been doing well lately. And so they're rejiggering their company structure. Tencent's getting a bigger stake, especially they're in these IPs, Assassin's Creed, Far Cry, Tom Clancy's Rainbow Six, because they think they can make money off of them. We have no idea what's going to happen to Ubisoft as a result. And some people were saying, like, the people that, get stock options in Ubisoft, this obviously kind of F's them over because Ubisoft as a company, their stock is, I don't know if that rolls over or they get a stake in this as well. And this new subsidiary, who knows? But Assassin's Creed basically kind of say thing, no word yet on what this means for the other Ubisoft franchises or the company's approximate. They have 19,000 employees. That's crazy. Crazy amount of people. And this is just Wario 64 announcing it. And this is the, just the kind of corporate letter on this, blah, blah, blah. Agreement with Tencent. This was an interesting email that was sent, email from P-Ret Nation here. To, I guess, Tom Henderson sending this email. Understand employees are nervous now. A follow-up email. Can I open this in image in new tab here so I can kind of expand it a little more? Follow-up email, Marie Sophie Dill Wolbert. I think that's how you pronounce it. Hello, everyone. I wanted to follow up immediately with all of you in Montreal, Quebec, Sherbrooke, soon Barcelona. And so how many places do they have? Anyway, first and foremost, I want to emphasize the agreement that announced is a powerful enabler. It's great, guys. Don't worry about it. It's super great. It's super exciting. Tencent investment is a strong testament to the trust in our abilities to grow. Yeah, you're really growing. Oh, you didn't do as well as as Valhalla, but you're growing it, sure. The direct result of incredible work done by all these franchises. I want to be clear. If you're not currently working on these brands, it doesn't mean your work matters any less. This agreement will benefit all Ubisoft. Giving us the means to spark more innovation creative across the board marks the beginning of a new chapter. Play a vital role in shaping it. In the coming weeks, months, we will work hard to build the best organization possible for. And this is the line here. In the coming weeks and months, we will work hard to build the best organization possible for Ubisoft, which is the first thing they mentioned. For Ubisoft, for our teams, and for our, well, if players are last. Of course, this brings uncertainty and questions. Right now, we may not have all the detailed. We don't know how many of you guys are going to be fired, is what this means. But we will commit to communicating you with transparently and regularly, supporting you. Oh no, supporting you through this transition is the top priority for your local and your global leadership teams. Transition doesn't sound good. This transition, that kind of sounds like, don't worry, we'll get your back as we'll give you a nice severance package as we kick you out the door. Don't hesitate to reach out to them and stay tuned. Locally, usual or dedicated studio times will also be good forums to keep you updated and answer your questions. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe this is my interpretation of it. Doesn't sound good. I think some people are getting laid off. That's just my thought on it. That's just my thought. Some of the stuff where you talk about build the best organization possible for Ubisoft. That kind of sounds like, hey, we're restructuring and some of you got to go. 19,000 employees, man. How is it that big? That's crazy. So let's move on. So that's there. I love this tweet by Rook here. Ubisoft has a reputation for releasing half-baked $70 products riddled with glitches and microtransactions, but it's all forgiven because they made fun of a balding retard, so we all must consume their products. There's a big Ubisoft clapped back at Grums and he ratioed him with totally not botted likes. And then, here we go. Let's make a GIF about this. They got him. They got him, guys. Let's buy a $70 piece of shit because they made fun of someone. They made fun of Elon Musk on Twitter. Did you know that? Here's Gene Park. I see a lot of people buying the game just because of this hit back. Because Assassin's Creed said, is this what the guy playing your Path of Exile account told you? I see a lot of people buying just because this. You're literally going to spend $70 because someone made fun of Elon Musk. I mean, like I said, like I responded to this. This is as dumb as buying Daily Wire razors, like right-wing beer. Guys, they made fun of Elon Musk. I gotta buy this game now. Let me play this pile of shit. I have many thoughts about the company accounts talking like people. I've done it too, so I get it. But it's hard to see this is anything but a net win for now. I think it is, to be honest. I think this is a good strategy by Assassin's Creed. If Ubisoft wants to continue making anti-white, anti-male slop, then why not appeal to leftists? Why not make fun of Elon Musk or Grums or like any of that culture war? Get involved in the culture war stuff. Basically, steal the Daily Wire's playbook of selling, Daily Wire chocolate. I mean, it's going really well for them right now. Of course, that's the issue. I think people are kind of sick of a lot of the culture war stuff. Like, let's get in on this trend as it's dying, as Ubisoft or as Daily Wire is going bankrupt, as the quartering is suffering financial troubles because of his coffee company. Let's get in on this trend as it's dying. Great. I mean, that'd be typical Ubisoft here. You go for it, guys. It'll work. Trust me. Keep it up. Grums here. Speaking of Grums, you can tell a lot about Ubisoft with how much money they are throwing at terrorists. And this is kind of the other crazy thing. Why not? Why not get Hassan the Hun to play your game? I mean, one of the most prominent leftists on Twitch. Get him to play Assassin's Creed. That's the audience you want right now. So do it. Like, lean totally into it. I think that's the best way to go forward. Now, another thing a lot of people are talking about Assassin's Creed is this sort of a fighting cowboy clapping back on racists in his stream. So I just want to preface this too, because this kind of we'll roll into some other stuff too. But I'm gonna need to preface who Fighting Cowboy is, because I do not like this guy. I think he's a piece of shit, and I'm gonna go off why. So this was earlier this year. If you notice here, the second person from the left is Mr. Matty's Plays. He had a controversy involving Veilguard and some of his clips being leaked. So here's Cowboy here. Here's Fighting Cowboy. Yikes. Retweeting this potentially career-ending accusation. And all of this was less than 24 hours. He did not give his cool folk, people that this guy that he thinks is cool, Mr. Matty Plays, 24 hours to respond to it. This is the kind of guy he is, the type of man he is. So yikes. And the typical leftist passive-aggressive crap that you always see from leftists. For those asking, I haven't heard back from him. I didn't bother asking him. I haven't given him a chance to respond, given him a chance to explain his case. I'm just going to retweet this. I like to think it's an editor that passed around the footage because this seems extremely out of character. So to me, this doesn't seem like something he would do, but I'm still going to retweet it to out. I'm just still going to retweet it. Like, hey, cutie, is this you? From this leak video spread by one of your friends? Oh, you're friends with racists and bigots? Oh my gosh, I better get in front of Fighting Cowboy needs to get in front of this, because he wouldn't want anyone to associate Mr. Matty Plays with him, if it's true. He's got to hedge his bets. He's got to hold his friends accountable. This is what's going to kind of move into the sort of hack situation. This is like this Stasi-esque leftism that you got to hold your friends accountable. By hold them accountable, it means ostracize these people and destroy their lives. And in Hax's case, kill them. So this is like, he hasn't asked Matty. He doesn't seem like him, but it's not looking good at the moment. And this is not a good look, bro. Wow, until I hear, so like it seems extremely out of character for him, but until I hear back, it's hard to know anything for certain. Yeah, let me just throw this out there just in case. And this is him covering his ass 100%. He doesn't want to seem. Yeah, sorry. Have a beef with Hexworks and CI Games. Yeah, I'm not I don't know what that situation is. Hello, by the way, hello, Sasano a la Richard. Good to see you. Yeah, he does seem like a lying prick to me. He just seems really sleazy. Another guy that just sucks up to these companies, makes sure he's in good with the PR so he can get early access, so he can make guides. It's all about access media. He's 100% part of it. And then, if I'm understanding that all this is correct, the implication is Maddie's behind a leak and his friend's a Nazi. Is that right? Kind of. This footage, like I said, all of this is within 24 hours of this accusation coming out. He could not even give him a day to clear his name before he starts tweeting this shit. The footage of his... So the question is, how does this weird Nazi posting all the spoilers fit into the picture? Was Maddie compromised, hacked, or was he unknowingly working with a shitbag? So, the thing is, him being friends with someone that's bad is just as bad as him doing it. The alternative of those two is the worst case scenario. Thanks for clearing it up. Yeah. Way to go, Fighting Cowboy. And the last thing, this is kind of unrelated, but it is related. But I want to lay the groundwork, because this is why people are pissed off with seeing Yasuke in this game. They know what it is. They know that it's leftist propaganda. They know the reason why he went from, just being a guy to having, you have to have a female character as well. Take part in the story. You have to have both because of this, because this is leftist. This is what leftists believe. This honest. And let's get to this sort of Weish man explains it perfectly. I think it's
important to be able to kind of see yourselves in these play experiences. And it's important for the cis males to also see other people.
The cis males. Guys, cis males. Have you seen other people out in the world? Do you interact with other people? I mean, have you ever gotten out of your basement, touched grass, and seen a minority or a woman before?
It gives you this closed worldview to see no one but the same white males doing the same white male fantasy.
No, I just hate it when white males and white male pattern fantasies. I hate playing those. If only I could play as a black dude.
Power fantasies all the time. So they're limited in kind of what they even accept with the world.
If I don't play as a black guy, I can't accept black guys in the world. It's clear. I mean, and this is what they believe. They believe if they throw in black dudes, you had all this stuff, the sort of racial strife after George Floyd. Ubisoft 100% believes that at least if they put a black guy as their, the face of that franchise, which they immediately sort of they desperately tried to push to the background as all of this stuff, as it became pretty clear that it's not popular. But, people didn't want a black guy as the sort of star of the Japanese game. That Japan famously being extremely ethnocentric because, it's an island. But, we got to have Yasuke because that makes Ubisoft look good. And because they somehow believe that putting a black guy in the game, if you play as a black guy, you're somehow going to become less racist.
See the world. They don't see that these people even exist out there.
Do you know black guys exist? And this is the retarded stuff that they actually believe. Because we also have this chart. This is also kind of related to it. Before I get into the clip, we're doing a lot of this is mean in-group bias by race and ethnicity. Score denotes mean differences in warmth between in-group and out-group feeling thermometers. So black, they like black people like black people. Hispanic people like Hispanic people. Asians like Asian people. But then we go to white liberal, and all of a sudden it's negative 13.7, a complete reversal. They hate white people. And this is one of the things that's affecting so much of the art that a lot of these liberals are making nowadays. And it's also, I think, one of the reasons why unfortunately people like Hacks is Hacks and a lot of other white men in gaming, which, I mean, Hacks isn't white, but he looks white enough, unfortunately. Fortunately for him, I don't think him being named Aziz helped him out. That, they just hate white people. They don't like their race, so they need to throw in Yasuke as the face of their franchise just to prove that they're doing something to fight racism in the world. Now, forget that this is some sort of, tradition, feudal Japan, epic set in feudal Japan. We will literally get the one black guy in history, that has barely anything written about him, and make him the face of this game. And regular, I guess, people that are, maybe if you just have like 100 IQ, you just ignore it. Hey, this is fun, whatever. But gamers are all pretty smart, and I think they are pretty plugged in to the fact that this was done for a specific reason, and they don't like it. They don't like their gaming being used as a platform to push propaganda. They just want to enjoy. They just want to enjoy the game, and they don't want this bullshit thrown into it. I was told by a TrackCon AfterTurfers that I shouldn't have a hobby, and did it exactly. It's just not manly or adult to play video games. As they decide to like further lose the culture for everyone else. But like I said, on this chart, this is why Yasuke is in the game, because white liberals hate themselves, or at least other white people might be more appropriate to say, and they need to prove that constantly. So let's get to this video. This is Fighting Cowboy, who is an extreme leftist. Likes to stab other people he works with in the back, or at least, retweet potential career-ending rumors before they even get a chance to respond. Here's him talking about
I don't give a fuck what your opinion is of this game. I don't care. Your opinion is worthless to me.
Exactly.
The quality of health of my morning shit.
He does not care what everyone thinks. He's got to toe the line.
Had a bigger impact on my thought process today than you being upset that there's a black guy in Assassin's Creed. So shut the fuck up. All right? We're not.
He's a tough dude.
It's a fucking video game. If you are
guys, it's a video game. This is totally normal to have a black guy in feudal Japan.
Black guy in a video game? Fuck off.
You're just a racist. You're just a racist if you think this is awkward, this is ham-fisted, if it's thrown in for no reason other than to remind people that black people exist, and you're racist if you don't like it.
I don't want you here. I don't care. Stop. I'm not doing this fucking argument. Every goddamn game these days.
Oh, it's just because every game, or at least every game he wants to play, loves to throw this in there. It's constant propaganda coming out of a lot of these big name studios, constant leftist propaganda. You saw it in even games I like Wilds. You constantly saw this. Yeah, it is woke.
Oh, there's a black guy. Oh, there's a trans person.
No, trans people.
Fuck up. Either play the game or go the fuck outside, bro. It's not that hard. God damn.
Just consume it. Just toe the line. Be like Fighting Cowboy. Just be a shill for this stuff.
I've been on this earth 37 fucking years. When I was a kid, guess what? If a game came out and I didn't want to get involved with it, I didn't fucking play with it. I didn't go on the internet.
You couldn't even afford it. The internet probably didn't really exist that much. I mean, he's slightly younger than I am. And games weren't shit. By the way, they weren't pushing this crap. It was made by men. It was made for men. They weren't trash. But now they become
child. Wah. The game doesn't have stuff that I want. So shut the fuck up and leave, bro. Are you that much of a fucking loser that you're seeking out streams of a game you don't like just to be like, wah, I don't like this?
I mean, one, you shouldn't be watching Fighting Cowboy. I agree with them there. You shouldn't be watching his stream. Don't watch this guy. Do not give him views. He's a loser. Like I said, as I pointed out, he is a complete backstabbing snake that loves to, like I said, 100% push this leftism. Oh yeah, he likes to cuss. I mean, that's him being. This is him being tough. This is him being tough. He's tough. He's got to stand up for leftism because look, he desperately needs to show that he's on the right side. Because you got guys like, or magazines like PC Gamer that are gonna give him his accolades for it, that are gonna help promote him. This guy is a corporate shill, 100%. This is what he does, and this is what his income depends on. Because this guy gets, he was part of even Capcom, who like their English PR team is extremely liberal as well. Chose him as one of the captains for heavy bowgun, so he gets promoted as part of their launch strategy. And then I love this guy K-Mid Respect to Fighting Cowboy for telling it like it is. We're done with your anti-woke stupidity. Go find something else to bitch about or crawl back under the rock you came from. Leave gaming alone. The fuck alone, guys. And then, like, let's look at his profile. Good old K-Med's profile here. Not a gamer or an influencer. By the way, notice how his, let's see. His pinned tweet, "Hey Grums, how does it feel to start being disliked by almost everyone? You're such a vapid fake." I'm not gonna read all the cursing that came in. Let's just search his profile. Let's see, Grums. Let's just search for Grums, because this guy is a normal dude here. These are the guys telling you like what a normal person is. Let's just start scrolling here. These all include the keyword Grums in it. Yep, by the way, this is the guy telling you these are the guys telling you what normal is. You guys totally aren't obsessed with Grums. They totally don't care about the culture. They're sick of the culture war. They're sick of the anti-woke culture war. Totally. Oh boy. Leave gaming alone, guys. We're still going. I think we're going to reach the end eventually. Oh man, this might need to be a 2-hour stream. K-Med, holy smokes. Yeah, this guy doesn't have a problem. This guy doesn't have a problem at all. K-Med, yep. These people love this stuff too. They love this stuff too. Leave gaming alone. By the way, I'm just going to constantly tweet Grubs obsessively. Yeah, that's great. And of course, like I said, Andy Koch, PC Gamer, Assassin's Creed Shadow streamer, goes viral after confronting whining commenters. Normal people, again, they're so normal. It's totally normal to try and destroy your fellow streamers' careers. That's totally normal. It's totally normal to be a giant shill for this stuff. This is a real gamer. Fighting Cowboy. Yeah, that's great. That's great. And this is what happens. This is what they do. When you toe the line, you get help from PC Gamer, you get extra PR coverage, you get all that stuff. There it is. It undoubtedly comes a cold comfort. Poor developers get harassed and abused for spreading leftist propaganda, which is very real and ugly as hell. None of this is going to separate the potentially aggravated from the imagined grievances. Yeah, it's not a grievance. Like, we know it's propaganda. Everybody knows it's propaganda that you're spreading. The only reason Yasuke is in this game is because of George Floyd, is because you think white people are racist. And if you think you include it, black people in a positive way, that somehow they're going to become less racist. When the reality is white people are the least racist group out of any racial group. It's the exact opposite. Yet they keep want to keep pushing this propaganda. There is a Fighting Cowboy said money to be made in that game. Not to mention, there's money to be made by pointing out the obvious, actual truth of what's going on. It must all be grifting to point out reality. And by the way, which is also hilarious, since Fighting Cowboy makes his money by shilling games, by sucking up to all this PR stuff, being excessively positive. He goes out and defends when a Veilguard was not giving people review copies, since if they said something bad about the game on their early impressions, they weren't giving a review copy. He was busy defending that practice too. He's saying, no, it's nothing, guys. It's nothing. It's just, a phantom you guys are chasing. It's totally normal for positive RPG companies to, these companies that, these channels that always get review copies for RPGs to suddenly not get one. It's totally normal for them to get invited to early access and then all of a sudden not get a review copy. It's totally normal. Believe me. But anyway, let's move on. And this is from Oren McIntyre, not specifically related to video games, but this is kind of tells you the game plan. The plan was to live action remake everything that's already has a name in the popular zeitgeist, transfer the name to the new gay thing, and then destroy the originals. This is like year zero. Commit iconoclasm until history is indistinguishable from gay race communism. And that's what it is. Assassin's Creed was popular. It was just, an assassin game starring a man that all of a sudden now that's not what the franchise is. It's got to have a black guy. It's star a black guy. You got to really, I think it mostly focuses on the female character itself. It's not about a man doing cool assassin shit anymore. Fighting Templars, we got to change it to include, more appropriate characters. Because if cis males see a white guy constantly, then that's all they're going to relate to. They're not going to realize that black people are real. As this gentleman here pointed out, we need to see other people in our video games, or else how can we how can we improve masculinity if we don't do that? And of course, this is a semi-related Netflix. Scooby-Doo's getting a live-action remake on Netflix. It's written by 2 Jews, so I'm 100% sure that it's totally not going to have. It's not going to be a bunch of white kids. I'm just calling it right now. Joseph Assbaum, Scott Rosenberg, they're both Jewish. I think it's on Netflix. I think you know exactly what's going to happen. And this is why people are so fed up with it. They know what's going to go on. They know it's going to be ruined. They know this is happening. All the stuff that has a name in culture is going to be ruined. The Scooby-Doo already had that Velma shit that was thrown in there. All of it's going to be taken away. They're not going to be white anymore. They're not going to be. I'm just waiting for the Zelda live action. I know for a fact that neither one of these people, neither one of the Zelda or Link, one of them's not going to be white with blonde hair. You can't have two of the main characters be white and have blonde hair, because that would just be racist. And there's already people pushing to get a trans actress, or trans actor, or whatever you want to say it, to play Zelda. That's already a big push right now. They know it's happening, but if you point it out, then you're just weird. You're just angry. And yeah, I guess in a way I am angry. I don't like it. And then Cat Helmet's Master Chief is turning in his grave. This is Marty O'Donnell. And this is the kind of stuff they do. They're like, oh, we'll just add more lame stuff to your franchise that was a male franchise. We'll just make it as feminine as possible. And if you point that out, you're just an angry guy. You're just angry at the world, because we want to make this franchise. We want to ruin the identity. We want to make it as lame as possible. This is why I brought this up. And then you have these guys like, shoot, do I have it? Like, what's wrong with player expression? And this is all they bring up. What's wrong with player expression? It's just players want to express themselves. Trans people just want to be represented in the game. And if you, a heterosexual man, find that to be stupid and lame, and it ruins your experience, well, you're just a bigot. Because why wouldn't you want, skins that signify Black History Month or Women's History Month? Why wouldn't you want those in the game? Why wouldn't you want your sort of fantasy world? Why wouldn't you want all these modern political crap thrown into it? They say this response, what's wrong with immersion? Absolutely nothing. But plenty of things happen in the previous that breaks immersion, blah, blah. And they always try and bring this up. It's bullshit. It's 100% bullshit. And just everything's slowly whittled away that you used to enjoy. As a heterosexual man, you just cannot enjoy video games anymore, because every time you see just little things that are thrown in there just to push this propaganda, this sort of, there's no such thing as masculinity or femininity. It's all this gray slop. If you want to be white, or if you want, a game that has white people in it, just start nothing but white people, that's racist. There's got to be black people. There's got to be other minorities in it, or it's racist otherwise. It's just constant. Well, let me take a drink and let's move on as we kind of shift gears. I want to go over the situation that happened with hacks. More distractions to the actual issues with the games. A bunch of marketing and public relations speech, yeah. X-Runner. Big people tend to swear to try in single strength, yeah. That is a good point. Hey, by the way, good morning, X-Runner. Good morning, Barry Gaslight. Good to see you. Yeah, it is. It's this tough talk. They messed up. Exactly. It messed up after it in the upcoming live action movie How to Train Your Dragon. They couldn't have this Viking movie. Again, this is actual racism. They couldn't have the Viking movie, which has nothing but white people in it because it's set in a place where there was nothing but white people. Vikings were white. Norse people were white. But they have to have Astrid be a black female. They just have to. Because you just can't have a white setting anymore. It's impossible. This is real racism. But, that's okay. If you complain about it, you're not a normal person. You're just weird. You're angry. Why don't you want white culture erased? Why aren't you taking part in this? Because again, just to bring this chart up again, white liberals hate white people. They hate other white people. And that is the bottom line to why this stuff is happening. Well, let's go. This is a sort of sad situation. And another problem, just another example of how leftism is just gone too far. And it's just infested. Meanwhile, actual devs are listening to criticism and wait. I mean, I don't know. It depends. I think it depends. There's a lot of stuff going on as far as video game critics or, dev studios. Obviously, I think, since a lot of them tend to be left-leaning, they want to have a lot of this racial stuff in it, but at the same time, they don't want a lot of the smoke that comes with it. Or, maybe they see some of the controversy being good, some of, to raise sort of coverage on it. Somewhere along the lines, I forgot that this is a paid service product. The onus is on the buyer. Exactly. I mean, if it's a big enough franchise, if they've already kind of established themselves, they can still get away with it. I think, Veilguard, did pretty bad, but they still, sold some. Maybe they sold enough to still make more, so it's hard to say. But this is a sad situation. Super Smash Bros. Pro hacks dead at age 30. That is way too young to be going. So his name is Abdullah Al-Aziz. I'm very hard to pronounce that. Al-Yami. It's some sort of, I don't know what his actual ethnicity is. It seems Middle Eastern, but obviously very light-skinned. Families converted his death on S. Cause of death was not disclosed. Part of his death GoFundMe was set up by his mother. So essentially what happened is he tried to commit suicide by walking in front of a train. He ended up losing his leg. And I think the general consensus is that he sort of died as, due to health complications related to that. Because he was, pretty significantly injured. He attempted to take his own life in August 2024 by jumping in front of a train. He survived the incident, but his right leg was amputated as a result of the injuries, and he suffered ongoing health complications. He was definitely banned from the majority of Smash tournaments in 2001 due to a series of videos he made criticizing fellow pro player Leffen. He later deleted the videos, but the ban was held in January 2024. Hex's final post addresses the Melee community directly. On March 14th, he said, "I miss the Melee community so much." His final post, "I need the Melee community back by my side. I miss my friends so much. I can't go on like this. I'm sorry to all you for what I did. All I want is to return to the community I once called home." In December 2024, following a suicide attempt in August, Hack explained it happened because I live with the pain of being separated from my community for over the past 20 years. However, let me be clear. In saying this event was incredibly unwarranted, it is not the fault of any TOs or the community at large. This was clearly a very rash decision fueled by factors such as social isolation and depression. So, I mean, essentially he was banned from the community. And we'll get into it. There's a lot of stuff going on. with it, but essentially this is what happens. The community's become incredibly feminized, where once you're labeled as an undesirable, everybody works together to, again, isolate and destroy you. I want to assure everyone that I'm, and he's very apologetic. And I think that's probably one of the mistakes he made, is that he kept trying to apologize. He kept, if I say I'm sorry, people are going to bring me back in, which it never happens with these sort of mobs. Everything's, trial by, what's the word for it? Trial, by the court of public opinion. And once that sort of turns on you and like enough of these people, you get on the sort of bad side of these whisper networks, there's no coming back from it. After the incident, I started making a concerted effort to improve my current situation. I've had to work with several mental health professionals, attending counseling. So he's like, eventually, he's sort of thrown in the box as mentally unstable, or that, he's drinking too much, he needs to get help. And then, because he said, he made these videos about left-in, which kind of seemed a little unhinged. So all of a sudden he's sort of thrown into that box, and he's, a danger to people. You have a lot of people giving their private, their condolences about it. It's a very sad situation, though. I do want to overhear this statement. You see it right here in this statement where he's sort of banned from tournaments. The closing statement reads, Hax's lack of sufficient remorse for his action. Just look at the way this is written and the words used, and you can 100% see this super feminized language, this bureaucracy, this HR speak that you see throughout society at large nowadays. This is, bureaucracy crushing one of the best players in the community. Hax's lack of sufficient remorse for his actions, incitement of harassment campaigns, targeting other people, and his patterns of doubling down when confronted, even by tournament organizers who have tried working with him for years, makes his present fundamentally toxic to the scene's health. Although Hax has shown no reason, I love this line. Though Hax has shown no reason for the tournament organizers to believe his presence at the events constitutes an active threat to other players, this is not the only reason to permanently ban players. This is insane. They just literally admit it. He's not a threat to anybody, but we don't like him. We think he's toxic, so he's got to go. And I love this line too. Just pisses me off. You can tell it's such a school marm bullshit. No one has the right to play a video game at a tournament. It's a privilege. The signatories of this document have together determined that Hax's actions have abused this privilege. We get to decide whether you play in our community or not. We're the masters of the universe here. He's shown that he cannot be trusted to respect the rules of the Melee community. And I always love when they use the word community. We have to, again, this is forced and isolated out of any sort of social gathering. He cannot be trusted to respect the rules of the media community and cut himself in an appropriate manner. The document was signed by almost every tournament organizer for the biggest Melee events in the United States. So, again, this is crazy. Nowadays, especially with social media, it's not that you're just banned from one tournament. There was an incident. Maybe this is there's TOs that are big fans of Leffen. They're friends with Leffen. They don't like Hax, so they say, "Hey, we don't want you at this tournament." It's always they need to you have to get everybody on board. Everybody has to be on board with hating Hax. Everyone has to be on board with banning him because of these videos or this behavior. There's always, again, there's just this really feminine sort of social group where everybody needs to agree on this, and then you're just out. You're just out of the community. No chance for recourse. We're gonna talk with every single organization and make it so you cannot compete at all. And for Hax, this was a huge part of his life. He had world-class skill at this game. He was, like I said, one of the best in the world, especially at playing Fox. So, what, your life's essentially destroyed at this point. And then from there, he got depressed. Unfortunately, guys like Zero here, which, got banned and then got jacked. This is sort of like the good route. I mean, he got, for some like sexual allegation stuff, it wasn't good, but he went from like this fat dude to buff. And, this is what could have happened, unfortunately. I mean, Hacks, what happened with Hacks isn't 100% on the TO's fault. Like, he had a choice too. Like, he could have, like I said, taken this in a much healthier direction. But unfortunately, when something bad happens to you, this is out of his control. What happened to him? And from there, he could have said, you know what? Fuck the Smash community. They're clearly a bunch of assholes. They're clearly working against me. I'm just going to buff and juicy. I'm going to do my own thing. But, he lost his dad. There's a lot of stuff going on. Maybe he could have moved. But, it's hard to say. But, I mean, just to sort of like take this like further advice for people, looks more like steroids than fit. Who knows? And why not? Hey, if you're depressed, why not take steroids? Why not? Hey, inject some to your HT, get some HTH. Probably does better than SSRIs to prevent depression. Who knows? 5-year ban, get jacked and juicy. I think it's better than falling in depression. But let's move on. So this is some of the stuff they do. Like, this is what happens when you get banned. You get an entire list of people, and it happens in all these gaming communities now. Splatoon was the same way. And this is this guy saying like, hey, show me where I signed off on the ban letter. I didn't permanently ban Aziz. You don't know me. You don't know my relationship. So this is some guy trying to like back off. Meanwhile, the CEO of the company, he's the CEO of Gallant Gaming, which is right here on this list. You probably can't see my cursor, but it's right below Nathan Sandwich here. Gallant Gaming right there. This is what happens when you get banned from the community. It's like everybody working together, this sort of whisper network here, to make sure that you're completely isolated from any event. And by the way, if you're an event that wants to get started that isn't going to be part of this, do not expect any support. They all work together to make sure that anything that's outside of this network does not do well. The Dr. Daniel Ahmed, I don't know who he is, but if there is a overlap, then maybe we're on to something. So just a giant list. Of course, he is the CEO. Kevin Durr is the CEO and founder of this company. Again, huge network. And this guy talking about the CSRP is partnered with Luma Rankings, SSMB Stats, which are run by Luminosity and Melee on it, respectively. They also partnered with Shoe Strats, but I don't think that group has any pull. The big issue is that the CSRP, which is like the safety resource, has a policy that if a tournament lets a banned player compete, and this is important, a tournament lets a banned player compete, that tournament won't count for its rankings. So they make these sort of like ranking groups, and if your tournament isn't let's ban people in, you don't toe the line along with them, well, guess what? We're going to make sure you don't count in our rankings. This is a big problem because it coerces TOs to abide by the ban list. Because if the tournament doesn't count for rankings, top talent is less incentivized to attend. So you're not going to get big players to attend. It gives you your event kind of seem unofficial. So this is just one of the ways that a lot of these communities, again, make sure that social cohesion is enforced here. So if you don't agree with the ban, well, you're going to get ostracized as well. And God, this is crazy. Just listen to this.
It was like, go sign up for school.
So these were the restrictions that, in order to get unbanned, that these people put on hacks.
There was like,
This is like the level
sign up
of
for school,
insanity.
and then maybe at the end of the month, this might potentially put you back into the scene, and you might be able to probably at the bare minimum spectate at tournaments in New York City.
So they want to string them along here. You got to do everything we ask.
Like, okay, sure.
You got to
fine,
crawl
I'll do
through
that.
book and glass to get it.
Hack signs up for school.
And they again, he's going along with it, unfortunately.
For trade school or some shit. Mind you, anyway, I'm going to say that later. Hacks.
So you got to try and get a job, bro.
Up for school
if you want to get them banned.
End of the month happens.
It is cult behavior.
I'm hitting up Hacks. I'm like, yo, so what the Group C say to you? You back?
Group C. I'm going to recover this.
Back,
Group
baby?
C.
Hacks is like, no. I'm like, what the fuck you mean no? They're like, oh, they extended it. Why did they extend it for? No, actually, before he signed up for school, he was supposed to at least be a spectator, and then it was like, no, they extended it because he reached out to another tournament organizer and lied or some shit like that. So they extended it another month. So then after that, then they did the whole thing about school. Then after that, the month ended, they extended it again and said, Hacks. Somewhere along the lines, they was like, Hacks, you gotta, what did they say? They said something like, oh, Hacks, you got to, I think, show your grades or go to
show
school
your
for like
grades.
A month or some bull.
How, again, this is like school marring principal behavior.
Shit like that.
I'm trying to run this guy's life. You got to sign up for school, show your grades.
You might be able to.
And then we'll consider it.
Spectate.
We'll consider it. And these are just random people. These are just volunteers.
So then when I'm speaking to Hacks, I'm like, Hacks, please, Hacks, let me speak to them. Because you know why? They mishandling your case, man.
This is just insane. The idea that they'd even put these restrictions on is crazy. This is just insane shit. In order to be part of the community, you got to show you got good grades. Like, this is like high school stuff. Like, if you want to be on the basketball team, you got to have at least a C average. You got to, they want to like fix this guy. Like, look, you're defective. We're going to try and fix you. So you got to go to trade school. You got to show good grades. You got to follow this 10-step program to make sure you do this stuff. You can't talk about you being banned. It's insane. The old couch idiom, go where people want you. If people treat you like that in a space, why would anyone want to be? I mean, exactly. Unfortunately, this is the problem. I guess Hacks couldn't see that. He couldn't. He really wanted to be part of it. This happens when you want social acceptance too much, especially as a guy. You got to be willing to go at it on your own. Unfortunately, because there's plenty of psychos like this that will do this to you, that will humiliate you. Again, this is guys far more skilled at the game that this community is based around than any of these people that are telling them like get a job here. 10 times more skill than they will ever have. And I think that's also a factor in it. They love the fact that they can bully around someone that is far better than they are. I have to take HRT would help them. Like I said, at least I think it would help with the depression, man. Oh yeah, Oh, you mean the other HRT? Yeah, exactly. You got to troon out if you want to back in the community. Because if you're a troon, you can get away with being a horrible human being. We'll give you a pass, but if you're just a normal heterosexual male, good luck with it. And this is just some of the details of what he had to do. This is him recapping in a YouTube video, which he wasn't allowed to talk about. The details of his ban or what he had to do, which is another insane thing. So they put on these bans and then they give you like these NDAs where you can't talk about it. So in 2001, I was banned for the release of the controversial video. Ban carried a recommended penalty of up to 2 years in addition to an indefinite clause. I phoned several tournament organizers in order to clarify the duration of the ban. They all verbalized that it would last for 1 to 2 years. Currently, there was a contract enforced by New York Melee, which stated I was not allowed to speak publicly of the ban. So you're not allowed, because they don't want to get heat for it. They want to be, the jailers, but they don't want to like stand on their own decisions because of the details come out. They know for the fact they're going to get shit for it. So this is another weak shit that they do. That's pathetic, in my opinion. I saw this in the Splatoon community too. That's 60423. I attended tip-off 14. This was the 2-year mark, so I mistakenly assumed I was able to attend the event past the date. You're not allowed to attend these events, and it's not even compete. You're not allowed to show up. That's how messed up this is. I realized I was wrong when GMO 23, SS 23, Fate 23, and Wave Dash all banned me. So immediately you do something wrong, 4 different things ban you. Summer 2020, I connected the tournament organizers who intimidated the original ban, 3 separate occasions. So like they just keep hitting them with like little stuff, little petty stuff. Contract would likely be illegal. Wouldn't like exactly. I mean, this isn't any sort of legal stuff. This is just kangaroo courts. I released the video. Then he released a video calling community ban appeal in order to force the issue, since no one was contacting him apparently. And then they decided to continue to ban you from stuff like Genesis. With the ban having dragged on for so long, I eventually ran out of patience and released the Jai 2044 ban appeal. I was perma-banned from my local community for the release of this video. I immediately approached several tournament organizers about the lack of due process, which drove me to make a terrible decision to release it. I even asked one of the tournament organizers if I could repeal the decision and release that video, which directly implied that I release it against my own best interest. All factors consider the permanent ban ruling is cruel. I maintain that mistakes were brought upon mishandling of the case. The 2020. So man, again, he's being abused here by TOs, and he's trying to do something. And for some reason, he thinks, fairness is going to come through, which, unfortunately, part of the red pill is realizing that it's not. People are not going to treat you fairly. Unfortunately, he couldn't see that and just fell further and further into depression. But this is one of the things. This is Group C, and this I kind of like this guy. This New York NYC Furby. Transsexuals and Smash Community colluded with TOs to make sure hacks stayed down. The FGC tried to mirror Smash with their code of conduct. Fighting games and Smash are both under ideological trans supremacy. 99% of the people speaking up against me are transgender and their allies. And transgenders have really become the sort of shock troops for leftist ideology. I mean, look at this shit. These are the people handling Hax's ban. We got this fat old lady, Kate McMurray here, a fat woman here, an it's here, another she finally he him with of course the COVID mask, and a guy that just has a picture of a falcon here. He likes hunting with falcons, I guess, training birds of prey. At least one of these guys have a somewhat masculine hobby. But and then let me go to the other. We got to show that, and then of course we have Emery Holman, another she they. So these are the community safety people. These are the people handling community safety. They look exactly how you think it would. These are the school marm transgender freaks that, and it's no wonder he was treated with such cruelty, because these are the people that clearly hate men. Absolutely. 100%. When you have this, it's exactly who you think it'd be. Utter ghouls here. And this is what's taken over these communities. Just absolute hatred for men, masculinity, anything related to it. This is how they operate. If you don't toe the line, they make sure that you're completely ostracized and shut out. And they sort of use this language of safety and toxicity, and essentially that just means you don't agree with us. You won't submit to our rule here. You got to toe the line and be a good person, or we'll destroy you. And I doubt a single one of these people could actually play Melee. Even in their thing, he says they suck. They suck at playing these games. Yep. Ugly people that love power. Another thing that kind of happening in the aftermath of it. This is This is a Mewtwo King here, Jason Zimmerman, talking about Lefton. I'm just personally disappointed that I showed Lefton forgiveness in a situation where Lefton needed it and asked it, allowing him to keep his team and life. But Lefton did not show Hacks the same forgiveness. This is eventually a large reason towards Hacks' death. And of course, the video that he got banned for was targeting Lefton. And Lefton right now is kind of being drugged as one of the people that was largely kind of responsible for him getting ostracized because he complained that he didn't feel safe at these events. And one of the sort of driving forces behind getting Hacks banned, which could very well be. Again, I don't know enough about the situation and what kind of he has, but I'm pretty sure it definitely had something to do with it. I'll take Mewtwo King's word for it. So he could have kind of worked towards smoothing this out, but he was perfectly fine with letting this cruelty continue. Bland Player Zero throws support behind Mewtwo King's call to ban Levin from the community. So Leffen's definitely getting a lot of heat right now as one of the people responsible for pushing Hacks to his eventual death. So Leffen banned in Sweden for awful behavior, tried to ruin Hitbox and smear him, HBox smear him, tried to ruin MK2, profit off ruining me publicly, then pretending he's my friends while I'm laying in a hospital bed. The events with Hacks are all witnessed. When is enough? So they want to get Leffen out. They want Leffen to pay for what he's done. We'll see what happens. I mean, I'm not super invested in the Melee community. But I do think there's a greater lesson here for other communities and just gaming in general that you need to really, I think really the ultimate solution is just to start forming fraternal organizations again and get women and troons out of the community. I mean, they can still be involved in events, but if you're letting these people like this run your community, your safety community, deciding who's banned and who's not, good luck. There's no saving it. There's no saving it at this point. If the people deciding who can compete and who's not look like this, there's just no way. Let's move on. Mewtwo King also saying, I think corrupt people should be removed from the scene. I think it's very wrong that they get no repercussions for their actions, when a lot of it was, in my opinion, very clearly malicious, of course, especially after speaking to Wes, which is best name Samus New York, about him knowing even more information with this. Again, people, and this is so bleak. And then this is New York City Melee and Mooring of Hacks. Aziz Hacks Al-Yami. Tomorrow Night's nightclub is canceled. He continues to support his family during the difficult time. You can donate here. And of course, the community note, this is the same community that took over his tournament series, changed the name, and banned him for life. So now they want to act like, oh, it's so bad Hacks got this happened to Hacks. Meanwhile, they were one of the people stole his event from him and banned him from it. This is what happens to you. This is what happens to people right now. And then, of course, Hacks' nightclub, that's what it is. It would be called if you didn't steal it and ban him from his own tournament. You piss stain, what a vile putrid. And then you and Leffen, a lot of expletives. People are not happy about it. And this is kind of just the thing. This is him talking about Hacks' ban.
As a New York City Melee player for over a decade, nobody asked the players who made this community a thing, who made it what it is today, if we wanted Aziz gone. Nobody asked him how we felt around him. No. Based off of a linear string of honestly, very liberal belief system.
I'm glad to see people are calling it out. It is a liberal belief system. This is 100% liberal ideology. This sort of isolation. Hey, you're a bad person. You're done. We're going to isolate you. Hey, you need to humiliate yourself in order to get back in our graces, and we're still not going to allow you in the event.
And very, you can't say this, you can't do that. You're putting these people in danger. It's like, you guys don't know what real danger is. Right?
Yeah. It's just the fake, I don't feel safe. I feel this is dangerous. This is toxic. This is a bad element.
I'll tell
it's
you,
all this bullshit speech.
I'll tell you guys a couple stories. But, you know, like, for you guys to put somebody in this box, ruin their reputation, ruin their livelihood, and then this person who clearly needs this game, you drove him to kill himself. Excluding people just because they're different is not okay. You want to talk about inclusion
Yeah.
and being an inclusive community.
Yeah, it's never inclusive. What Be My Inclusive is getting rid of anybody that doesn't think like us. That's inclusivity to them.
Well, it's not feeling very inclusive to me.
Yeah. I mean, again, they don't care what actual people, they don't care about the actual danger people are in. This isn't about safety. It's about ideology. 100%. And this is, God, this guy, this Toff guy talking about this. This is 100% like if you need an example of like this passive aggressive liberal speech pattern, here it is right here. It's amazing.
Like, hey man,
probably
really not cool that you're putting out this doc with some really heavy conspiracy
not cool
bullshit and some white supremacist dog whistling and
white supremacist
some
dog
really
whistling.
inexcusable language about Samox.
Inexcusable language. Oh no.
That's probably not cool, and you should really stop.
You should really stop. Good God.
Like, hey,
You should stop.
hey man,
Holy shit.
probably really not.
This shit is so God. Again, if this was like a group of normal people, normal men, actual with like an ounce of masculinity, this guy would not last. He would be called several slurs and told to leave. Holy shit.
Not cool that you're putting out.
It's
this
not cool.
doc
Got
with
some
really heavy
got
conspiracy.
some conspiracy theories, some dog whistles. Pretty not cool, bro. Not like a good look. I can't believe it.
bullshit and some white supremacist dog whistling and some really inexcusable language about Samox. That's probably not cool, and you should really
Probably
stop.
not cool. I can't believe you said that language. So this is how they defend. If you have any problem with a troon, if you have a problem with any like liberal person, you confront them directly about they're big. Yeah, big yikes, my guy. If you say any directly confrontation to any leftist, this is the kind of shit they're gonna throw at you. Like, meanwhile, they will just lie and imply everything about you, like any career-ending rumor. That's totally okay. And again, like if Hacks made like this 2-hour-long video trying to expose someone as a racist, that would have been totally fine. Totally cool. You're totally allowed to make 2-hour videos calling someone a racist, calling someone a bigot. If you like you expose them as, a Trump supporter, that's totally all right. That's not targeting people. That's protecting the community. If he did that, he would have been fine. He would have been praised. But no. It's the who he decided to target that mattered, not the content of it. And then I love this. This is another TO. It would be awesome if people could channel that anger of what they're thinking about a bunch of volunteer smashios are at billionaires who are actually ruining our lives. Holy smokes. These liberals just cannot help themselves. Guys, why are you angry at us when billionaires are ruining our life? My God. These people are the people you need to take seriously. They're the ones telling you what normal behavior is, by the way. Having a normal one right now. Online tourneys might be, and this, again, NYC Furby, online tourneys might be the only way forward given the current climate. Transsexuals don't like you, prepare to get death threats. Again, if you don't toe the line, yeah, they're getting death threats. You go in an offline venue, prepare for the venue owner to get brigaded until they remove you, and lose business. Appear on stream, people get threats of violence the second your face is visible there. They have this sort of social isolation stuff down, and people give them a pass too to do it. Like if you're transsexual, you can get away with this stuff. Have a tournament series, virtual signals will scoop that up the second they get you out of the venue. This happened to myself at Arcade Brooklyn, and the virtual signalers that took over was David Casa Bunch. He didn't build that. He took over what I helped build after the transsexuals got me out. Disgusting. So this guy clearly has a problem with transsexuals. I don't think it's just limited to transsexuals, honestly. But, like I said, they're sort of they become the sort of shock troopers of leftist ideology. So if you don't toe the line, they isolate you, they ruin you, they attack people until anyone that that wants to give you the time of day or a spot, they will keep attacking them until they don't want to stand up for it. And a lot of people don't want to stand up, especially I guess in a place like New York too. It's not it's just not something you're going to see too much in a very liberal area, unfortunately. I don't know if I agree with the online tournaments might be the way forward. I mean, in a way you can kind of unite people that are probably more right-wing or, sick of this stuff into spaces like that, and that could potentially be a good solution. Like I said, I personally think you need to create male-only spaces. That's the only way to kind of like assure long-term that they don't become like this. At least for the members, and like you could still hold, you can still hold events that are like, that aren't segregated by sex, but at least when you have a male only like leadership structure, you don't get the influences of at least you can mitigate some of the influences. Let me say that. So here's Gutex talking about this. If I were a tournament organizer, because this is some of the issues that are facing people right now. So here's Gutex. If I were a tournament organizer that banned a player that died after attempting suicide because of the ban, I'd be more concerned with finding a good lawyer to defend against a wrongful death lawsuit than trying to scrub my involvement, just saying. And this is kind of responding to something else, but it's hard to say. I just want to point out here that Gutex here, who used to be the person on PogChamp, ended up getting canceled on social media after he kind of tweeted this out. Will there be civil unrest for the woman that was executed inside the Capitol today, or will the MAGA martyr die in vain? The video will be aired soon on band.video, resistance.video, and it sounds pretty gruesome. So he tweeted that out. He was kind of upset that a woman was, shot during the Capitol protests, which a lot of people were. And then basically Twitch kind of comes out. We want the sentiment and the use of POG to live on. Its meaning is much bigger than the person depicted or the image itself. Again, he gets unpersoned by Twitch. It has a big place in the Twitch culture. However, we can't in good conscience continue to enable the use of the image. So again, you tweet out support for right-wing, you get unpersoned by one of probably the biggest gaming platform for streaming. And this is kind of the issue that happens. You're spreading conspiracy theories. You're encouraging violence. This is the kind of like language they use. You have people like Natasha Zinda, who wants to deplatform hate, which just means, again, deplatform people that don't toe liberal propaganda. So this is some of the issues that people are, that's a real uphill battle if you want to sort of fix a community, because Twitch is against you, YouTube's against you, all of these major, Capcom's against you. This is infiltration here. Capcom esports team, who again was in a very similar situation. Esports team tried to life ban me in 2018, believing the lies and materials my ex-wife prepared, but fortunately, Panda Global and my legal arrangements allowed me to return in 2020. They once again banned me for no clear reason in 2022 and never contacted me once again. So even Capcom, a lot of these companies are very liberal. They will work with these people to help. They'll work, with again these super liberal organizations to make sure you're deplatformed for life as well. Capcom extremely liberal, especially the English version. Their English PR team, their English relations, Western relations are super liberal. Again, this guy was caught. His wife accused him of not sexual assault, but domestic violence. He got a DV charge. He had a bad marriage. They divorced, and then the court. I think the court sided with the wife because she had like a bruised wrist and some other stuff. Nothing major, but of course if you're a guy and you're hit with a DV charge, you're already cooked. You're already fighting an uphill battle there. So if you don't have all your ducks in a row and like, you're not recording like 2 months ahead of time and gathering evidence before shit blows up, then you're already cooked. They made me unable to play the game I loved all my life in a tournament and lost my friends and job. I tried to kill myself like hacks a few years ago. A few years ago, I felt desperate by my current situation. I thought I wanted to die. These are murderers, bystanders, and demons. Again, the same things happened to him. Capcom is totally okay with it too. So you're going to have to fight the companies that are running this. You have to fight the platforms, social media platforms besides X, that are involved in this. And that, again, Korean online community also sitting on the sidelines so that TOs and those who commit crimes can be active. I don't think Reddit is much different. Reddit, again, another person you have to fight. You got a lot of shit going for you. Alec, and you just hear you calling about Jabali here. He banned me for no reason for supporting his event for a long time. He saw my face at EVO Japan and EVO US last year, but scared and ran away. Dude, even your big muscles don't protect you from your weak mind. Again, these people are cowards too. They want to hide behind the computer screen. They don't want to contact you and say face to face why they did it, because he probably knows that he's full of shit. He wants to stay in good graces with Capcom. Capcom bans you, then I gotta make sure you're banned too. Again, this and like infiltration, like I said, caught a DV charge from his crazy wife, and now forever he's labeled as wife beater guy. That's what he is. They dehuman him by basically saying, "Oh, this guy's a wife beater," and then what are you supposed to do beyond that? I didn't beat, like with the old question, when did you stop beating your wife? Kind of thing. Like, I didn't beat, like, you're just immediately thrown into that box and you're done. Again, a male space would at least be understanding of this. Like, hey, bad relations happen. It can happen to anybody at any point. Some women are crazy. Some women are crazy. They do very crazy stuff. And then if people are just willing to take their stuff at face value, because really they don't care. They don't care if he actually, abused his wife. The fact that he just just the appearance that he might have done it is enough for them to just say, yeah, he's unpersoned for the rest of his life. We can't even entertain that maybe he didn't do it, because men are the oppressors. Men oppress women, patriarchy, blah, blah, blah. We can't have it. So goodbye infiltration. We don't care if you kill yourself. You're done. And this is what gaming has become. An activity that was just, a few years back, almost exclusively a male activity. This is what's happened to it. And it's so sad to see. I love that things were unironically more professional back in the Wild West days when everyone was bombing stores. Exactly. This is exactly right, because it was a male space back then, and men just handle things better. That's 100%. They just handle things better. They know what's going on, and they don't get involved in this like bullshit, like unpersoning stuff, this like whisper network crap. This is incredibly feminine, and this is kind of funny. This is a guy named Autistic Breeder. Oh boy. What? So this is some fantasy he's cooked up, but it's kind of nice, but I don't think it's going to happen. Melee has 3 different eras of people playing it and leaving, and now a 4th group is going to violently overthrow the 3rd. For reference, the first group, Grassroots, Homemade Waffles, Ken, Pre-Doc, Brawl. Second, Doc Kids, me. Heterosexual nerds who love Melee and pushed the scene. And then the third era, Trans era, Ultimate brought in a bunch of Nintendo Switch people, viciously over-socialized normie into power positions. Etika killed himself because these people were unempathetic, inhospitable, cold, and cruel. Cruel normies, hyper-moralized, Scar, Toph, etc. These people would take over the scene everywhere and ruin it. And this is the 4th era that he's hoping for. Far-right hack synthesizer, upwriting, trainees out, COVID mask into the trash, over-socialized norm groids kicked out and replaced, the return of Zero, no sponsorship, pure passion. And this is good. I mean, like, good luck with that. I hope it happens. I don't know if it's going to happen. And this is another guy. Over-socialized is a pill more people need to swallow. It's vastly prevalent, yet defined in silence. It's almost like Dunning-Kruger effect, but for individuality rather than intelligence. And let's look at the definition here. Over-socialized in sociology, a term coined by Dennis Wrong, refers to the idea that individuals become overly focused on conforming to societal norms and expectations, potentially subtracting their individuality and critical thinking. Now, for any like red pill guy that's studied anything beyond, fresh and fit, this is 100% how female social groups operate. This is feminine behavior. And it's so funny that we have to sort of redefine like female behavior as and like take the gender out of it as over socialized in order to assimilate it too far in society, in order to kind of like remove the sort of gender roles on it. This is over socialized. Yeah, and this is the thing. Like, it's not over social. Like, you just need to get women out of your communities, and then that fixes it. If it's just men, you have to worry far less about over socialized behavior. But trannies are an easy target. But unless you have the courage to hate trannies, but do you have the courage to hate women just enough to realize that you have to keep them at arm's length in order to keep your communities healthy? Do you have the courage to do that? And if not, I don't see this fourth era getting in, being a reality here. Then this is Cody, I think another Smash player. I know, maybe or maybe not. Stop all the inclusivity nonsense. We want to see top players stripping and ripping on sticks, rivalries, trash talk, sick storylines. That is allowed to happen with all this inclusivity nonsense. Full meter EC reset. Get all this nonsense. Again, people want a return to male spaces, and this is essentially what it is, where people aren't super sensitive. They're not worried about all this stuff. I mean, people tried, like they wanted to get serious. They wanted to get, I don't know if that is the same Cody or not. I mean, they only have like 310 followers, so maybe not. But they want to return to this, but at the same time, people, want these like brand deals. They want Capcom support. They want to be taken seriously in scare quotes. And a lot of this was sort of used to control people and get them sort of on board with all this leftist garbage, because a lot of the money is coming from those spaces. Hey, how's it going, Nuke? Expect to see everyone on Monster Hunter later. If you want to play Monster Hunter, we can talk maybe after Post Zero. I can get on and play some. I've definitely been enjoying the game lately, even though I've kind of like almost done everything they've had. I mean, kind of waiting for the new content update to happen to really get into it again. Remember when FGC was a safe haven for gamers and nerds? It seems 100% like a cult now. Personal lives should be separate from the FGC. We are not God. We can't dictate what others do, no matter how much you ban them. Let play. Again, you're right in the fact that it was a safe haven for gamers and nerds, again, when it was a male space. And that's, again, they don't specifically mention it, but I think that needs to happen. It needs to become a male space again, or this stuff is not going to hold up. The old FGC would have multiple tournaments where hacks was not banned. When you see how many people break their silence, you see that the vast majority have been silent, and that modern FGC is corporate far more than community. This is all NYC Furby's been saying. Again, that would be true. It'd be true if this was like a male space. Men just don't do this kind of stuff where I have to contact every other TO and demand that they also ban someone that I had a problem with. I mean, maybe like if someone like stole something at your venue, you'd contact other TOs like, hey, this guy's been doing this, and then it'd be up to them to do that too, and maybe like, hey, I don't want that in my thing either. I'll get rid of them. But it's just not something. Now you have these networks where everybody's got a ban, where they demand you also ban these players. Like everyone has to be united in it. Again, this is how feminine groups operate. This is how female groups operate. Everyone has to be involved. It's 100% focused on social cohesion, not on what you're trying to do. Because banning Hacks from these events doesn't make Melee better. He's an incredibly good player. It makes it worse, in fact. But in order to sort of toe the line and make sure the rules are enforced, that's what you have to do. It's funny, I've never seen any of this. I've kind of seen it a little bit. Like if you get in some of these gaming spaces, you start to see it. And I know even in like the Splatoon community, which I was much more involved with, you had people that are banned from these events. Like if they said something racist, then you get banned from an event or stuff like that. And like all these other people make sure you can't. Once you get sort of labeled as that, they do it. So, I mean, sure, it wouldn't happen if all this stuff happened in real life. But now that you're on the internet and now social media can help people, these sort of like freaks, enforce this sort of social cohesion, it's gotten way worse. But man, I've been gone super overtime. That's a sort of the hack situation. I mean, my closing thoughts on it, like I said, gaming needs to go back to, we need to start making male spaces again. Fraternal organizations. If you don't do that, I don't think any of this stuff, nothing good comes of this anyway. I mean, you can say, get the troons out of it. That might help. If it becomes, more right wing, that'll help too. But look, it's just natural for men to want to protect women. And there's always people that are going to use like, oh, this person, we need to make it safer for everybody. And they always use this kind of stuff like safety and toxicity and social cohesion to, force the sort of othering of people. And unfortunately, for Hacks, maybe it could have gone another way if he sort of realized that, hey, I just need to get out of this. These people are toxic. They want me dead. They don't care about me, but, he held on to it. He kind of thought that he'd be treated with fairness, not quite realizing, the true nature, unfortunately, of leftism and people. Fortunately, it cost him everything, really. It's sad to see. Really sad to see. And hopefully this does spur people to make a positive change to their communities and sort of, again, get rid of this stuff. This stuff needs to go. This sort of like othering of people. And I think ultimately the best way to do that is to form male spaces. For male-only spaces. That's it for the video, guys. If you liked it, please subscribe, hit the like button. Hope you enjoyed it. Fighting Cowboy is a line break. Yeah, thank you guys. Anon, good to see you. JBB, good to see you. I have Spyro running in the background to avoid hackers, but still the hackers exist. Good to see y'all, guys. Thanks for joining me. Hope you enjoyed the podcast, and I'll come back here in 30 minutes for Rule 0, where I think we'll be talking about this as well, but more of focus on, red pill, male spaces, male strategy type of stuff. We're going to kind of give it more of a spin on that, unless on the, was still focused on gaming, but, more from that perspective, that sort of panel show. We'll see what the other guys think of it. And again, I'll see you later. I'll see you then. Thank you guys. Goodbye. End the stream.